Could you use a quick tip daily? How about a tip that can impact your day? My name is Raphael. Join me as I bring you tips by experts around the world. These experts have shared their knowledge and wisdom with me and will directly share them with you. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, and comment, and I would love for you to become part of the New Tip Daily community. Good morning. Good morning. It is Friday. An amazing day. I want to wish everybody a very happy Friday. And I know a lot of people are looking forward towards the weekend, but it's not just the weekend I look forward to, it's every day. I get a chance to relive, reignite myself. And today's a special day because I have an amazing person joining us shortly. Branch Isole. And this gentleman is just an amazing human being. He understands the value of relationships. Are you guys ready? Let me introduce you to Branch. Branch, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Sifu Raphael, good morning, my brother. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be part of your inaugural week of your daily tip. So I thank you.
Thank you, my friend. So we're talking relationships today, huh?
We are, life is about relationships, whether it's at work, at home, in our community, at school. Life is all about relationships. And I have found, in my work and in my work with people, that healthy relationships promote two things. They promote balance and growth, and they keep us moving forward. And people ask me, well, what is balance? At its core, balance is stability of our mind, our body, and our spirit. And growth is that action that happens when we replace old pattern behaviors with new grounded responses. And my tip for the day is grounded responses will help you reduce the stress and struggle, the pressure and conflicts in your daily life. So what do I mean by grounded? I'm asked a lot of times if I'll share one fundamental of success with people, what would it be? And my answer is be prepared. Then the question is, how does one get prepared? Have a plan. Be prepared for success, be prepared for failure, be prepared to hear yes, and be prepared for rejection. The process is to prepare, to act, to analyze what worked and what didn't work, and then to go back and retool or tweak or adjust our plan if necessary to go again. What I find is when you're prepared, you get grounded in your responses. And the more you're grounded, the more confident you become, the more self assured you become, and the more knowledge about your product or service you become. And this helps your position, but most importantly, it helps you. It helps you grow and move forward in your life, both at home and at work. So that's my daily tip for today. Be prepared, have a plan, and work the plan.
I love it. I love it. Be prepared. And I like what you said also. I like this tip that sometimes you have to accept the fact that someone is going to give you a no,
Yeah,
right? And it's
yeah.
okay. You know, a lot of people, they plan certain things. They never plan for failure,
Hmm.
right? So
Right. Yeah.
when for example, my goal may be to go from point A to point B, but man, sometimes there's going to be a disruption, right? So what
Yeah.
do I do with that disruption? Do I get upset?
Yeah.
You know, listen, last night I finished my class, my Kung Fu class, and I have a bar. And one of the teenagers decided to try to do a pull up, but he said he wanted to do more than a pull up. He wanted to do a muscle up. That means that you bring your body, your hands all the way past and all the way to your belly. Well, on the way down,
Wow.
I wasn't in the room anymore. He kind of did it, but on his way down, he went too close and he broke his nose on the bar.
Ouch.
So, I have another teenager yelling at me, Sifu, Sifu. I'm like, yes. And I'm in a different room. And they're like, we need you. I'm like, I'll be right there. And then, my front desk is saying, no, no, you really need to get there. I'm like, I'm coming. There's no rush. And they're like, yes, there is. There's blood everywhere. I'm like, oh, really? I said, so, I still didn't run. I'm like, you know what? The blood will keep going.
Yeah.
So I went over
Yeah.
there. I helped him out, got some paper towels, put his head back, put a cold, a coin. Usually one of the tips that I do is I put a quarter on their forehead. They get to keep it. And then put their head back. But when I said, oh, you have a broken nose. And he was actually pretty good about it. So he wasn't that concerned, but I think he was more embarrassed than anything, right?
Sure.
But,
Sure.
so I gave him a choice of you can go to the hospital or I can fix it for you. And his mother came in and I said, if you take him to the hospital, you're going to be there a while and or I can fix it.
Yeah.
And she goes, I think I'm going to take him to the emergency room. Okay. 2 hours later, she calls me. The emergency room is packed. I'm like, okay. I said, hopefully he'll have a good doctor and he'll do exactly what I was going to do anyway, because I've fixed
Yeah.
so many broken noses in my
Yeah.
career. And but you know what? It's better if they feel comfortable and safe with having a doctor do it. That's cool. So
Sure. But that's, we are trained as we grow to depend and rely on other people.
that's
And
right.
a lot of times that's why sometimes we're so disappointed because we have this expectation, right? And the action never lives up to that expectation. And it's one thing to, have that expectation of the doctor and then be disappointed. You'll
Right.
get over that. But when we have expectations of ourselves and we're disappointed, that hits home. And a
Mhm.
lot of people, will, like you had mentioned right before your story, a lot of people will carry that disappointment with them. And so that break is difficult to make. We uh, this idea of being told no, whether
Mhm.
it's in a personal situation or a business situation, the the person who takes that personally as if it's an affront or an offense to them are the ones who then begin to grapple with it and give it way too much time and way too much energy. The person who realizes that the no really doesn't have anything to do with them in its essence,
Mhm.
it has to do with their service or their product or whatever it is they're trying to communicate. And so
Yeah.
if you separate that no, that rejection, as well, they didn't like my product, so I need to find out why and tweak that, as
Right.
opposed to, well, they said no because it's me. Well, if it was you, then you need to tweak that as well. But you
That's
don't take it
right.
personally initially, because that's the kind of baggage that we carry with us throughout our lives, is that reflection back that I'm not worthy, and I didn't deserve it, and all of those kind of things. And that allows that door to open where we can start to make excuses and blame others, or
Mm.
blame things. And once we go to that place, that place loves to grab a hold of us and keep us there, so that every time we face rejection or failure, you know if we immediately go there, our path is going to be very difficult. So you have to separate that emotion out of it and say, well, how can I do better? What do I need to change so that the next time I'm in this situation, I can be more successful? And that's what growth is all about.
That's right.
Recognizing what works, what doesn't work, and then use my strengths again for what does work, and don't go to that place of what doesn't work and it's all about me.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in business, right?
Yeah.
Look at Thomas Edison. How many times did he get a no? 10,000 times, right? Before he got that yes.
Yeah.
And, the people who truly understand the power of looking further beyond the no are children, right? How many times does a parent have to tell a child no before
Yeah.
before they actually understand? It's like, okay, no, because I want ice cream. No, 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 let me go ask dad, right? So
Yeah.
a child sometimes says, well, maybe it's the wrong time. I'll ask in 5 minutes, or I'll ask 100
Hmm.
times, right? Before, and then obviously I'm not going to get it, but maybe I'll ask later because they
Yeah.
don't let go, right? So,
Yeah.
and
Pers-
I love the way you talked about the tip of maybe it's not the time, maybe it's not the person, maybe it's you. And then that can be fixed also, right? Because
exactly. Yep.
if you're not prepared, then the answer should be no, right? Until you prepare yourself for that to be able to have that answer so that people can
Yeah.
say, you know what, you're ready. You have done your
Yeah.
work. You've done the diligent work. Now you're ready, right?
Right. In the arts, writing and music and artwork and those kinds of creative activities, the only thing worse than having a hit is being a one-hit wonder,
Mm,
because you try to follow up that success without a plan, right?
right.
All of your energy went into that success moment and it bore fruit for you. It was
Mm,
fruitful and you got what your aim, what your goal was. But if you don't have a plan to follow up that one hit, your career is over
yeah,
basically. So
yeah,
you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a goal. All dreamers and all goal setters have a plan. Let me give you one quick example. In
sure.
1973, the Yale graduating class was asked to write down how many of them had a plan, for their lives, and had actually written down goals and ambitions. And they did a follow up 20 years later, and the top 3% who had written out their goals and their plans were worth more than the other 97% combined. And that's the power of having thoughts and writing down those plans and those actions so that you can put them into action. Today there's a lot of talk about manifesting your destiny.
Right.
If you can't see it mentally, then it can't be, because you don't know what the steps are going to look like to make that manifestation come to pass. If you know what that goal looks like in your mind, then as you travel your path and make choices and decisions, the signposts will become self evident to you, because they'll mark your path, that you're on the right path and the right direction to accomplish that goal. If you don't have the vision, you'll miss all the signs and all the benchmarks along the way that are guiding you to that successful completed plan.
Absolutely. You have to have a plan, right? When you think about it. We
Well,
have, go
yeah,
ahead.
you have to have a plan.
Yeah,
Otherwise you're just responding, helter skelter to all of the things that and the people are taking place in your life. And that's a tough way to live your life, is in constant response to crisis, from crisis to crisis.
yeah, yeah. We have Timmy Gallagher. He's joining us, and he said, "Great stuff, guys.
Uh,
Michael Phelps attained a world record with water-filled goggles. How? He practiced with water-filled goggles. He planned. Here you go. He planned for when it goes bad and good. So one of the things, and thank you, Timmy, for that great tip as well, and letting us know that you're here with us. I appreciate you. When we think about life, when we think about consequences, we just run around life without worry of consequences. Our actions, no matter if it's a good action or a bad action, is still going to have a consequence. And I try teaching that to all of my members, anybody who's either a coaching client or anyone else that even wants to listen to me, right? Because our actions will reflect our tomorrows. What I do today is going to impact maybe just me, but it may impact the whole world. Look at what those people did in 9/11, right? Their actions impacted the whole world, and it's
Yeah.
still impacting. People are still dying from what happened
Yeah.
in 9/11. There's still, all these people talking about all these things and there's always that we will never forget 9/11. And it was the actions of certain people that created that havoc that we still remember and we will never forget. So, and look at all the heroes that we lost that day, right? Everyone. And the heroes that we lost even afterwards because they got sick, because they were there,
Exactly.
because they were
Yeah.
helping, because they
Yeah.
did the things. So our actions definitely impact our tomorrows.
Yeah, that ripple effect from that single thrown stone into the water.
Mhm.
You mentioned the people who suffered the trauma and the health issues afterwards. Well, think of all the families of those people who were then affected.
Mhm.
Yeah, changed lives. One individual, Osama, with his plan
Mhm.
and 17, adherents to that plan has literally changed our world the same way that Pearl Harbor did.
Right.
It defined a generation for the next 20 or 30 years.
Mhm.
And you said something that's so important. Our thoughts become our actions, and our actions become our habits, and our
That's
habits
right.
determine our character, and our character determines our destiny. And
Mhm.
so a single thought, that single stone thrown in the water, the ripple effect, can go on virtually indefinitely, whatever the power of it is. And this brings me to a point about our thoughts. The Lord is so giving. He gave us a brain that works like a supercomputer, and we can change thoughts literally instantly, right? I read somewhere the other day that the average person experiences or has 60,000 thoughts per day.
Mm.
Well, because you can process that information so quickly, we don't think about it. I can be driving down the street, listening to the radio, paying attention to, what's going on around me
Right, right.
and thinking about something, from home or work, right? I can be doing multiple things, but the interesting thing is I can only focus on a single thought at any moment in time. And so, whenever we're tested, whenever we're challenged, whenever we're tempted, and innately we know that the outcome could be costly to us, all we have to do is change that single thought to something else. And by changing that thought, we can change our actions, our habits, our character, and subsequently our destiny. And
Yeah.
that's the power of thought.
That is the power of thought. You know, Branch, you and we can talk for hours, can't we? I love your energy. I love your insight. And one of the things that I truly value about you is your thinking patterns, right? The way you think, the way you bring God into your thoughts, into your daily life, right? Because when we think about the life that we are blessed with, it's because of a higher being, right? And listen, even I'm going to say this, and it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't agree with me, right? But even an atheist has to believe in something, right?
Mhm.
So I want to leave it there.
Yeah. No. Let me leave you with one thought.
Absolutely.
John Lennon said, life is what gets in the way when you're making other plans.
That's it.
And,
I love it.
that's what we have to be prepared for. We need that dream. We need that goal. We need that place that we want to be. But we've got to be prepared for the
Mhm.
things that life are going to throw at us and challenge us with as we walk that path to accomplish that goal.
Right. Beautifully said. Branch, I want to wish you an amazing, amazing rest of your Friday. Everybody, listen, for some people, because I have people listening to us all over the world, it may be nighttime for you. It may be 2 in the morning. I don't know. So, whatever you're doing today or whatever you're going to do tomorrow, make sure to tune in, check us out, listen, find someone in your life that will help you with whatever struggles you're going through. And if you're doing great, find someone who is going through struggles and help them because we were meant to help one another. Let's go ahead and do that, right?
Amen. Yeah.
Amen. All right, you guys, enjoy. Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good time. Be safe